Hi. That little video that you saw of the bird is a bird that my daughter and my grandson found yesterday. It had fallen out of its nest, and I don't believe its eyes are open yet, so I think it's only like a few days old. And it had fallen out of its nest, it was chirping, and it's amazing because when it fell out of its nest was a time when we were having a get-together and there were a bunch of people there, and we just happened to be outside even though it was an extremely hot day with a lot of bugs outside, but we all just happened to be outside just in time to see that the bird had fallen from its nest so that we could grab it and take care of it. So we immediately started to take care of it and feed it, and boy does that thing eat a lot. I tell you, it sure does eat a lot. My point is sometimes we feel like we have fallen and that God has forgotten about us and that there is no one there to pick us up and to take care of us and to feed us back to life where we need to be. And it's not so. It's interesting because God cared so much for this tiny little bird, something that would completely go unnoticed by millions of people, billions of people. But he cared so much for that bird that he made sure that that bird fell at a time where someone would be there to take care of it. And I looked up a few scriptures. Now listen to this. Matthew 10:29. It says, "Are not 2 sparrows sold for a penny? Yet not one of them will fall to the ground outside of your Father's care." And you may say, but wait a minute, the sparrow fell, or the bird fell. Well, yeah, it fell. But listen to the scripture. It said it will not fall to the ground outside of the Father's care. So even though you've fallen, and even though you feel like you're drowning, and even though you feel like there is no help for you, God will place people there. He will place situations there. He will give you an out. You just got to reach out and take it. That's the whole point. He can't do more than place you in an area where you're not outside of his care. Again, in Matthew 10 and verse 31, it says, "So do not be afraid, for you are worth more than many sparrows." So if God cared so much for this little bird, this tiny little bird, to make sure that there was someone there to take care of it, how much more does he care about you? Wow. How impactful is that? So let's think about this a little bit more. Okay, so not only did this bird fall, he happened to fall in my yard. Everybody else picked up the bird going, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? But here is an amazing thing, and this is how God works. When I was little, we had the same thing happen. And my brother and I took care of the bird. And my mother, of course, my mother helped, and she was the one who taught us what to do. I already knew what to do. So I started telling them, okay, this is what you need to do. Get a shoebox, get this, get that. I even knew what to feed it. And I knew how to feed it. And that poor baby bird was so hungry. And, you know, we woke up this morning, because this was yesterday, and we woke up this morning and the bird looked so much better than it did yesterday. It looked wounded yesterday, and I'm starting to wonder, I don't even think it is wounded anymore. Even so much as this tiny little video is an outreach to you. An outreach for you to realize that God cares about you. No matter how much you feel you've fallen, no matter how hopeless you feel it is, God's reaching out to you. All you got to do is grab and take hold and let him, or the people that he brings to you, feed you back to life and give that life back to you. Because you had it when you were a little kid, regardless if you grew up with it or not, it doesn't matter. In the innocence of your childhood, God was with you. God was with you all through your life. Gotta love the alarms. God's always been with you. And a lot of people think, well, God was never there for me. Well, yeah, he was. But did you let him be there for you? Did you take his hand? Luke 12:6, and I find this interesting because between when Matthew and Luke was written, I think inflation happened, really. Luke 12:6 says, "Are not 5 sparrows sold for 2 pennies?" Wow, the inflation. First it was 2, now it's 5. Yet not one of them is forgotten by God. Maybe it was the region. Who knows? Not one of them is forgotten by God. You're not forgotten either. God hasn't forgotten about you. He loves you. He created you.